In a desolate highway, John got off from his jeep, enjoying the magnificent sun setting behind a little hill. He pulled out a blue file from back of his seat. After rustling through few pages, he started entering details into a page titled T5 Hill Weather Sensor Checklist. As he looked down, the twilight sky has already become dark. Then John started ascending the small pathway that leads to the top of the hill with only a flashlight that gives illuminating the path. After a few hours of work, John left the sensors at the top of a hill and descended down the hill. As he walked down, he stumbled upon a stone, and next moment he fell on his stomach and facing the ground at the entrance of some cave. After a few moments, he tried to stand up. Some circular object got caught in his palm. It was a pendant that fit in his palm with a mercury-like red glowing substance at the luminous center. Suddenly, John found himself in the most extraordinary and terrifying situations of his life. Alien creatures with luminous, elongated limbs emerged from the shadows. Chaos erupted everywhere. Their screeches pierced the night, sending shivers down John's spine. He knew he had to run for his life. John sprinted through the dark pathway, his breath raged and heart pounding. The creatures pursued him with relentless determination and their limbs bending and flexing in unnatural ways. The hill and the small pathway had become a nightmarish maze, and John's only hope was to stay ahead of his relentless pursuers. Desperation pushed him to take daring leaps from one rock to the another. The hill's eerie silence was broken only by the inhuman creatures of his relentless pursuer. John's energy waned, but the fear and the adrenaline kept on moving. Couple of rocks along the side of the path provide a glimpse of refuge. John dashed beside it, seeking a moment's respite. He hid in the darkness, hoping to elude his alien pursuers. But they were cunning. They knew he was close. With this hiss, they started probing the rocks, their elongated limbs sliding under debris and under the corners. John realized he couldn't stay hidden for long. He needed a plan. The aliens were blind, but their hearing was incredibly accurate. He needed to distract them. Grabbing a piece of rock, he hurled it across the pathway, creating a clamor that echoed through the hill. The creatures, drawn to the slough, slithered towards the source. Creatures went after the noise. John quietly slipped away, making his escape to his car. But the chase was far from over. The aliens chased after him, their unearthly shrieks still echoing in the night. John's breath were labored and his body ached, but he couldn't stop. He had to find a way to get rid of these creatures. With a flicker of hope, he decided to go to the cave, the very place where he found the mysterious pendant. Perhaps it held the key to stopping the creatures. With newfound determination, John hid under one of the trees and then he headed back to the cave. As the aliens keenly waiting for the slightest noise, he knew he had to find the pendant that he threw along the pathway after he passed the cave entrance. Maybe this might end the nightmarish chase. The moonlight guided his way, and the eerie glow from the pendant illuminated his path. he has to get the pendant before the creatures finds him. As John took the pendant and reached the entrance of the cave, the alien creatures were closing in. With his heart pounding and adrenaline surging, he took a deep breath and ventured into the mysterious darkness. Inside a labyrinth of winding tunnels and strange rock formations, his only source of light was a small flashlight. The eerie silence of the cave was punctuated only by the sound of his footsteps and the distant screeching of the creatures following. John felt an overwhelming sense of foreboding, but he pressed on. He knew he had to find the source of the creature's power and put an end to this terrifying chase. As he ventured further into the depths of the cave, he stumbled upon the unworldly portal, shimmering, emitting an eerie, pulsating light. The alien creatures drawn to this portal circled around it, their elongated limbs weaving in patterns that defied human understanding. John approached the portal, realizing that he had to do something to disrupt its power. He raised the pendant and above his head and aimed it into the portal. The pendant struck the portal with a blinding flash of light and deafening explosion. The very fabric of reality seemed to shudder, and the alien creatures screeched in agony as they were sucked into the collapsing portal. The catastrophic event was followed by an eerie silence, broken only by the echoes of the creatures' final screams. John has succeeded in vanquishing the otherworldly threat. The portal collapsed. The aliens were sealed away from the earth, and the moon's glow outside the cave dimmed. Exhausted and relieved, John emerged from the cave, no longer pursued by the hunters. The hill that was once a nightmare was now a solitude and calm. John had faced unimaginable horrors and emerged victorious, knowing that he had saved not only himself but his world from the menace. As he walked away from the cave and the dark secrets it held, John couldn't help but wonder what other mysterious lay hidden in the universe, waiting to be discovered by the brave and the curious.